Hello, fellow gamers, and welcome back to Phalantis Plays. Today we are once again on Path of Exile. Like a normal Monday. Every other Monday. So, what are we gonna do today? Today, we're gonna do some maps, talk about our builds, talk about Sentinel League in general. Hold on a second, I gotta check one thing. Huh. Ah, there we go. Ooh, nice. Gonna sell. Hey, got him. How you doing? Nice to see ya. Just going into the voice chat on the Discord. There we go. All right, so let's talk about the league. While we play some maps. The league start was rough. Rough. Have a class right now. Oh, cool. Hope it's not too hard. Hope it's one of those non-math classes. One of those liberal arts classes that you have to take. Yeah, league start was pretty rough. I think I died over, I don't know, 20, 30 times. Is there a place you can check that? Maybe in the characters tree? No. Oh. Sorry, buddy. Just sold it. I'll have to look that up. But yeah, I died a whole bunch of times. I'm gonna do a montage and release that, you'll see. Oh, okay, let's see. Let's see how much that is. Oh yeah, 168 times. It's been a rough league start. Rough league start for me. Ooh, my beard is a bit, okay. Anyway, so the Arch Nemesis mods were definitely overtuned in the beginning, especially in the lower levels. But I didn't mind too much, actually, until, what was it, till like Act 10 or something like that? Because it's just, it becomes so hard to get away with anything later on that is like normally you would be able to, ooh, that was a nice drop. Normally you would be able to like have like maybe not full essences, or maybe, you know, a little more damage so you could clear things quicker. No, this time you needed to have all of the defense auras that you could possibly put on your character. Like no choice. You had to do it. I mean, I'm playing an on-meta build, so I still had to do it. So yeah, the Arch Nemesis mods, they got nerfed, and then they got nerfed again. They got a numbers nerf, whatever that means, and then they got an actual number of Arch Nemesis mods on the rare monsters nerfs. The number of rare monsters on Nemesis nerf actually helped quite a bit more. However, I know that also nerfs Headhunter even more, so it's kind of a, I don't know, it's a weird solution for me. The biggest issue I think I have with Arch Nemesis is it now feels like magic and rare mobs they're just so strong compared to uniques and bosses. So they can also be, like, sometimes they can be hard, and then other times they can be super easy, and doesn't seem like anything is happening with them. So it was a weird thing for me to try to deal with and understand during the at least the initial campaign part of the game. Off-meta builds, definitely not a good choice this league. I would say, if anything, if you feel like it's just too hard, just go with the meta build for your league start, and then, you know, when you get a bunch of currency in maps, then you can start going and doing the fun stuff, which is not the best new player experience, and everybody's been talking about this already. So I think the biggest problem is how the Arch Nemesis mods are kind of structured. There's not, if your build isn't meta, even some meta builds like Righteous Fire just get turned off by some Arch Nemesis mods. So if you you need to be running Righteous Fire plus Leech, Righteous Fire plus, you know, and we just don't have the sockets for that. If we had the ability to run 3 6-socketed skills, then maybe the Arch Nemesis mods wouldn't be so bad in the middle and end part of the campaign. Or in the end game, because then what you can do, or at least 5-socket mods, 5-socket items, because then what you can do is you can have like a major two, you can have 2 skills. You can have like a close-up combat skill and a far-away skill, so that the mobs that kill you when you're close up on them, they don't necessarily, you don't necessarily just have to abandon them if you don't have a distance attack. And you also can, oh, I've got a double boss. So I think once we have, if we ever get to the point where we can have multiple 5 links, multiple 6 links, which I think is kind of what they're heading for in POE 2, then Arch Nemesis mods are going to be a lot easier to deal with, because you're going to be able to have more than just a single skill that you use for your damage. So yeah, I think that's kind of the problem overall with Arch Nemesis. My biggest issue, the biggest one probably, is just the fact that bosses, uniques, feel like they're somewhere around trash mob level. Like, they're between trash mobs and blues a lot of times now. So yeah, some of them seem a bit harder, some of them not. Now the other biggest one is the early game and new player experience, I think is... Oh, did I just kill everything and not use my Sentinels? Yeah, great. The new game experience is really bad, and I think that it's so bad that there must just not be a person at GGG really looking at testing out what they're doing, and I'll do it right now, and telling them, hey, like, Act 1, Act 2, these are just too hard right now. New players aren't going to know what to do. You just need to tune them down a bit, or fix them. Act 1. So that's kind of what I want to talk about next. Is the new game early level experiences. To try to solve this issue, I think GGG really needs to have a person or a team of people, maybe 5 people, who are constantly playing Act 1. And they're playing Act 1 not as like super tuned meta builds. No, all the skills, off meta skills. Try not linking gems correctly. Try just having normal combat skills, because they need to come at this the same way as a new player would. And if it can't be done in those ways, in that mindset, then it's just the game's just gonna continue to suffer this same new player burnout. Like, this is like, it's already too much for a lot of people. So they really need to have a team, I think, that just constantly works at and evaluates how to set up the game for new players, at least for a little while. Maybe not permanently, but at least for a little while. I think it would be really good for them to do that, to gain player base. The number one thing that I always see whenever I try to get somebody interested in this game, they start, they get the gems, they're like, oh, this is cool, and they get their first level, open up that skill tree, and they're like, I'm out. I have no idea what's going on with this. And if you made it slightly easier, if there was a bit more of a guide in game in which you could, show all the people that kind of to show them just what's going on with that. It's acid caverns. Okay, so I need arid lake and infested valley. What happened? Yeah, so. That would help a lot with a tree. But the other thing is that fighting mobs, even with a tree, you're all overcome with stuff when you're first starting out. So I think probably Act 1, at least until Brutus, if you want to have Arch Nemesis mods, you shouldn't have rares. You should only have blues. Blues were kind of okay. Just have only blues, and then after Brutus, then you can introduce rares, because that way, people are getting a bit better of an idea. They can have the right skills, right? But even then, I wouldn't go full on 2-3 mod Arch Nemesis rares. I would say 2 mod max, and also maybe only 1 or 2 rares per area in the map, instead of like the 5 or 6 that happen now sometimes. And supplement that with blues. If you want to have more mobs that are harder, then go with blues. They're good enough. They're plenty strong for early levels like that. So I think that's number 1, which you can do. And in fixing Act 1, just make it so that the monsters scale better for people. Ooh, delirium here. Great. Other than that, other Act 1 fixes. Nothing else really stands out. The other fixes that you can do with Arch Nemesis, I honestly think that the uniques can maybe have some of the Arch Nemesis mods. I think that would scale a bit better than just having the yellows. I like having it so that you have to pay attention to the mobs. And you know, the white mobs feel fine. The blue mobs with the Arch Nemesis mods on them are a little bit, you know, can be a little bit much sometimes. But, you know, it's okay. It happens. Like, that's just the way that works. I understand. I'm gonna come back and move that in a little bit. Try to get no more. There we go. It'll be faster. The arena area. I think that giving at least one Arch Nemesis mod to uniques will make them seem at least like they're uniques, like they're hard, or just rework their damage. Something needs to be done with uniques, because uniques map bosses feel absolutely just weak. Doesn't feel like you have to worry about them at all. Like, if your build can handle Arch Nemesis mods, Arch Nemesis mobs, then especially like the rare, like, or multiple rares, like, you're fine. You don't really care about map bosses. You don't really care about rogue exiles. You don't care about any of them. So I think the uniques, the unique monsters, the map bosses, those all need reworks. Just because they feel like sometimes the rare monsters felt harder than the end game mega bosses that you would fight at the end of each act. Like, that's just ridiculous. It shouldn't be like that. So yeah, that's my biggest thing. Like, look at this. Like, if you do an essence, this one's empowered, but when this guy would have had, like, see, he only has one now. If he had like 3, like, no chance. No chance of dealing with this. So tanky. See, so I've had to kind of rework. I can't just sit there and face tank. I have to kind of move around a little bit. Good. I think that's everything. Gotta move around a little bit. Shake, jive. It's cool. The other thing is they need to have, I think, with the Arch Nemesis mods, some more indicators maybe about when the different skills are going to happen, so people can learn how to dodge them, how to get around them, and maybe have a movement skill buff where movement skills become more useful. They're good, they're okay now, but you know, if you've got a huge fireball coming at you, you don't have enough movement speed, you don't have a movement skill, because its mana is cooled down. Like, you're you know, you're struggling. So yeah, that's my biggest thing. I feel like Sentinel, in general, like the league itself, I actually, I kind of like the Sentinel mechanic. Sentinel, it's been dropping some pretty nice treasures. It hasn't been too overwhelming with the Sentinels dropping. I think they could be maybe a 2x1 instead of a 2x2. That would be a bit better for the space. Sometimes you get 3, and that's like, you know, a lot of your inventory. So, yeah. So yeah, I think that other than that, it's kind of okay. I haven't really delved too much into the melding of them after after they lose all their energy. So, you know, we'll be doing more of that later. I also think it was maybe a bit of a mistake for them to release Sentinel League and the Arch Nemesis mods on the monsters in the same league. Just because, you know, you want people to play, but then you have these overtuned monsters, and then you're also overtuning them even more. So I think that was probably their biggest mistake, was releasing Sentinel with the Arch Nemesis. I think if Sentinel was released by itself, then, you know, that would have been a different thing. But with the Arch Nemesis mods on the monsters, it just makes them too overpowered a lot of times. Really kills the experience for a lot of players. But that being said, I want to get kind of into the meat of this episode, and I want to talk about the Arch Nemesis mods themselves. So we got a list from GGG. Thank goodness. They should have done this at league start. They should have done this with the notes, with the patch notes, where they had a list of the Arch Nemesis mods and what they do. What would also be nice is to have, I don't know, like they have to have video of this, right? So if they have to have video of these different modifiers so that we can see, especially the ones that actually have like projectiles and stuff, we can see what they're doing. But maybe they want it to be more of a, I can see them wanting it to be more of a like, oh, you have to figure it out, right? You have to figure out what kind of thing is coming at you and try to dodge around it. Just to give you guys an idea, for my character, I am now on 9,000 armor, 22,000 evasion. I've got maxed out resistances except for chaos, which I just haven't found space for yet because I'm still running on pretty cheap gear, except for the shield here. That was pretty expensive. But not even, this wasn't even 1x when I got it. So I've got full elemental ailment immunity from my Pantheon, or not my Pantheon, from my Ascendancy, and I've also got 100% spell damage suppression. So this guy's fairly tanky for a newer character. I'm still doing low level maps, but getting decent currency drops with these Sentinels. So not too bad. I've been finding some actually pretty okay gear to sell that's just dropping from mobs, right? A couple jewels. I had one that sold for 50 chaos, which was nice. So Sentinel in and of itself, I think, is kind of cool. I like how you can extend the drones. Like, it's okay. It's not as convoluted as I thought it was going to be. It's a lot more intuitive, and I think they could probably up the rewards a little bit, especially because the arch nemesis mobs, when they get empowered, are a little ridiculous. So over here, I have all of you together. There we go. Let's see. What was I having that? Oh yeah, my characters is tanky, and now can deal with the yellows and everything like that. But through the campaign, it was just real tough, and I think they need to smooth that one out quite a bit more. Because unless you're like super good at min-maxing while you're doing the campaign, it's a bit too much, in my opinion. But once you get to maps, everything is fine. Everything gets fun. Start being able to face tank. You've got enough stuff. Enough good gear at the end game that you can actually deal with the arch nemesis mods. So I feel like that's where they were balanced, and if that's where they're balanced, that's where they should be put in. If that's not where they're balanced, like during the campaign, just let stuff go. So without further ado, we're going to look at these arch nemesis mods here. The first two we got are Hasted. This is Dynamo. Are Hasted and Gargantuan. Oh gosh, okay. Oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Yeah, now he's got corrupted blood. There you go. I have a hard time dealing with that right off the bat.
My mana is gone.
So Hasted and Gargantuan are pretty much what you would expect. They are... Thank you. They are, just buffs. Hasted makes them faster, Gargantuan, more damage, more life, more AoE. So, standard, pretty standard stuff. Then we get into the Weavers. We've got Flame Weaver, Storm Weaver, Frost Weaver, Chaos Weaver. These are all pretty buff. They are very strong. What's this one? Commander Blast. Okay. I think the biggest thing that really messes with people with all four of these is the inflicts exposure on hit. That with the physical damage converted and as extra damage, especially with Chaos Weaver, makes them just really strong. If they're paired with Gargantuan or Hasted, or Steel Infused, which is also another buff, like they just become really strong and hard to deal with. So watch out for the Weavers. All of them do 25 of their physical damage converted to whichever Weaver they are. They get 50% extra physical damage as cold or as whatever element they are. and then an additional 50% increase to whatever damage of the element they are. So they just get huge damage buffs. They take away your resistances, and then they're immune. They're immune to the resistance which they match with. This can be, I think, for Flame Weaver is probably going to be the toughest for Righteous Fire builds, just because even though they are immune to the fire damage, Righteous Fire builds are not immune, but they take less fire damage. The Flame Weaver is immune to Scorch, which might be hard to deal with. I'm not sure. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong with that. But let's move on. Next we have Steel Infused. Overwhelm 30% Fizz damage reduction. Increased physical damage, increased and 50% physical damage reduction. Cannot be stunned. Yeah, okay. That one's not too bad. That one's pretty okay, unless it's paired. That's more of like a support one, right? Then we have Dynamo, Incendiary, Dynamo, Permafrost. These are all similar. No, wait. Incendiary, Dynamo, Permafrost, Toxic. They're all similar. They're kind of like other versions of the Weaver. Oh, take this. Yeah, Hasted Dynamo. Okay. So those are like 2 support skills. Those are not too bad on creatures. Nice. Invulnerable Stormweaver Hexer. Can't kill that guy. I really don't think they should have Invulnerable. On mobs, I think that's just a stupid thing. Like, just not being able to do damage at all. Oh, he's just invulnerable for these time periods. Okay. So Incendiary, they all do their Incendiary, Dynamo, Permafrost. Incendiary is fire, obviously. Dynamo is shocks. Permafrost is cold. And Toxic is poisons. They all get more of their, what is that, 25% increased duration on the ailment. And then they're immune to that, to the ailments of that respective type. So they're all supports, again, not too bad. Bloodletter, bleed on hits. That can be very brutal, especially early in the campaign when your life is low. Yeah, you want to make sure. You want to make sure now that your life does do the scaling. What is it? Plus 300 life per act. That they talked about. Oh wow! See this guy, Echoed Haste Vampire. Haste. Not too bad. Vampire. Vampiric. Okay.
That would only slow me down.
Oh, good goodness. Apex Sentinel has another charge. Where am I gonna find something? Come on. There it is. Juggernaut. Easy peasy. Yeah, I don't even want this weird wild leather. Yeah, I think that's a... Wait, is that... It's 30% quality? Wow, interesting. Okay. I'm gonna start getting rid of those other chancing bases. I think the only ones that are worth it now are the crown shields and the belts. Let's see. Bloodletter can be brutal, bleed on hit, increase damage with bleeding, increase bleeding duration, reduce damage taken from physical damage over time. Nearby enemies are maimed. So, you're maimed and you're taking bleed. Yeah. Bleed damage and extra damage over time. So, imagine like Bloodletter with the one that does the corrupted blood. We'll get to that one a bit later. Pretty brutal. Splinterer fires more projectiles. Deadeye randomly applies a curse. Most these are okay. Arcane buffer, faster energy shield recharge. So let's see. Those are all pretty good. Bonebreaker, Echoist, Sentinel. Like a lot of these are more like support style skills, support style modifications. So yeah, they're not too crazy. Let's see, arcane buffer, yeah, more recharge. Nearby allies have energy shield. These I still have not gotten. Echoist skills repeat 2 times. Again, that's a support skill. But 200 increased attack and cast speed. That's pretty crazy. Bonebreaker always stuns enemies on hit. That is brutal. That is brutal. Unless you are stun immune, you will be stunned when you get hit by this guy. Sentinel, I've seen this quite a bit, actually. More block chance. So, triggers delayed reckoning when hit. So, actually, more of a, again, a support skill. Ooh, there's a grove there. Oh, I didn't recognize my Apex Sentinel was gone. I'm gonna go back and change that out. So Sentinel, really strong support skill. Can be really annoying, I'm sure. Juggernaut, more damage, endurance charges, movement speed. Action speed cannot be changed. Increased area of effect. So actually not too bad. That one's... A lot of these are support skills. But like this Frostweaver, Incendiary Might. Hello, honey. Locationist, haven't gotten there yet. But it shoots off corrupted blood things. Okay, let's go back here. Try to get this, all of these together. Oh, nice! Results drop. I still haven't gotten this. So he's hasted, Halal Dive, and Crushing Claws. The Halal Dive must be all of these guys coming in. Yeah, that crew boat can actually still sell a little bit. Okay, Vampiric. All damage from hits is leeched as life leech effect are not removed on full life. Enemies cannot leech from you. So if you're life leech against one of these guys, you cannot gain life. You're gonna have to gain some regen. There. Change elemental resistance. Okay. Level. Come on. Jeez. Chaos Weaver. Okay. I was lucky then. Vampiric seems, yeah, pretty bad for life leech only builds. Overcharged. Overcharged is a super strong support. Roll the values on a rare item with lucky values. Sure. Oh, I have to empty the sockets. Oh, got a little bit more, I think. Not sure. Maybe a little bit less. It's about the same either way. Lightning! Craft this belt. I don't need lightning resistances, so yeah. Close. No life. 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 A life. Might be worth it. Who knows? Let's move on. Consecrator spawns consecrated ground for 6 seconds. Consecrates ground. Grants 2% regen to him and allies. Take 30% reduced elemental damage while on consecrated ground. Well, that's really bad for my build. Fire, socket color crafting effect. Fire, change elemental resistance, and sacrifice a map to influence crafting function. Okay. Curious. Overcharged. Oof.
My mana is gone.
Oh. Overcharged with the lightning on the ground. Yeah, lightning, frost on the ground. That starts getting to you. The lightning and fire on the ground effects are really intense. Change, sacrifice a map. Okay, I'll do that. Get rid of an underground sea. Reforge, add fire. This could be helpful. Oh, it hit 1 resistance. Here 3. Yeah, let's do it again. Here 2 fire resistance. Bad armor. Oh, the strength is nice though. And it's got a free suffix. And a prefix. Huh. I can get that other prefix off too, so I can do 2 prefixes. Maybe. Maybe it's better. Frenzied. Every 9 seconds becomes frenzied. 50% increased damage, action speed, and reduced damage taken while frenzied. Again, that's more of a support. Berserker grants increased damage with life lost. Okay. Full conduit nearby razors are monsters to fight again on death. Yeah, so Berserker gets more damage, movement, attack speed, and reduced damage taken as it gets lower in life. Cannot culling strike it. Bombardier. These are that's the attack one. So let's see. First we have Soul Conduit. Rise monsters on death. Nearby oppressor. Nearby enemies have oppression, causing them to deal 30% less damage, take 3% increased damage, and have 20% reduced movement speed. That's brutal. Definitely do the caster, right?
I'm not up to that just yet.
Three jewelers for fuses. Okay. Jewelers for fuses. Transmutation for alchemy. That's nice. Caster will keep physical. I think. Some of the claw people want physical. Oof. Ah. So Bombardier, yeah, that's an attack one. If you have like Bombardier with one of the Weavers, and then a support skill like Hasted, oh god, that, ugh. There's a lot of these too, right? Assassin, all hits are critical strikes. All hits are critical strike. Empowering minions and Necromancer, that would be a brutal combination, right? Rare minions, 30% increased damage. Give them all 70% increased damage. Rare minions have 40% increased damage. Rare minions have 30% increased damage. Assassin, blind on hit, so harder for anybody who's doing accuracy. Increased blind effect with no to extra damage from crit strikes.
Found something special for you here, local.
Whatever.
Ready.
Load things, please. Rejuvenating.